Hi, Jeff here. This is the first of what is intended to be a series of videos in which I talk to French and British seniors. First up is Jocelyn. If you could have your time again, would you prefer to be born now, nowadays, or back then?
I've got no preference really, because I would not, if I was born now, I would not know what it was like before, or just through books. And if I'm born now, well, I've got all my life to discover what will happen.
That's true, but you've had all your life, not all your life, I hope, but a good part of your life, and you can observe around you how life is for your children, for your grandchildren.
Yes, but I find that all along the years, it was there are things that were better before, and there are things that are better now.
Yeah, okay.
So it's difficult to make a choice.
And what do you think was better before? What sort of things? Can you think of an example?
I think before, in a way, we were freer than we are now. We could do things just like that, whereas now everything has to be planned. It can't be spontaneous.
Yeah.
That I find really for everything, in fact. And if you want, for example, to cook, it seems easier today, but it means that you have to take the appliance, which is quite complicated in a way, because you've got to time it, you've got to find the exact recipe which will correspond to your dish, whereas before you just put your pan on and off you went. You had your ingredients and you saw more or less what you had to do.
You needed to know. Did your mother teach you to cook?
Oh, no, my mother didn't teach me, but I don't know, I had the intuition, or else I had a cookery book, so I could read line by line. There, if I want to do a recipe, it means I've got to look at the program, and it takes ages. So for me, I find it better in the old ways. But
can I ask you another question? Why don't you cook today like you did in the old days?
I don't feel like cooking like in the old days. It used to take a lot of time, but I used to be willing to do it. But nowadays, I have things that I prefer to do than.
So there is an advantage to the modern ways that you gain time.
Well, I don't find that I gain time unless unless it's very simple.
Okay. Can you tell me where you were born?
I was born in Paris.
Yeah.
16th, in the 16th arrondissement.
Is that good?
But my mother used to be proud of the fact that I was born in the 16th arrondissement, because it was where people were better off. It was a nice district.
Okay, it was where the rich people lived in Paris.
Yes.
Okay. So were you born in a hospital or?
I was born in a clinic.
A clinic, okay. Do you remember where it was? It was in the 16th?
No, I don't really know. No.
Okay. How was your childhood? How would you describe it briefly?
Not very happy.
Really?
Because of my parents, to start with. And then I was put in a boarding school for many years, which was not very nice. There were good things, but on the whole, I didn't enjoy it at all. And when I came back at the weekend, which I had to, I was not happy at home. So
did your parents get on with each other? Or?
Not at all. They used to fight all the time.
So that was the.
So it was very tense at home.
Yeah. Oh dear, that couldn't have been easy.
No, it wasn't. So I don't regret my childhood at all.
How did you manage to develop into the person you are today, having had that difficult start?
By myself, I think. I tried to have an education. After I had to leave school quite early, and I had friends outside my parents and my family, and I used to read a lot. So I was self-taught.
I was just going to say, you're basically self-taught.
Yes, and I traveled a lot when I was young.
Yeah.
Everything to get out of my environment.
Okay. Okay. Did you, when you were young, did you have any particular ambitions that you wanted to achieve in life?
I wanted to travel. I wanted to be happy.
Yeah.
The ambitions, not especially. I wanted to have a job where I could enjoy myself, a job that would interest me, and it was hard to find.
You didn't have an ambition, for example, to become a doctor or a lawyer, or?
Well, when I was 12, I thought it would be nice to be a secretary. It seemed to me a top job at the time. But when I became a secretary eventually, I thought it was boring and not very interesting at all.
Okay.
So I left that job to do something else.
Yeah.
But I did many jobs, but they rarely interested me.
Yeah. I didn't have any job satisfaction in what you were doing.
Well, later on in life.
Yeah. No, but if we think about your early years.
In my early years, no, I found it fun to sail, for instance, but it was just for a time. Yeah. It was not fulfilling.
Okay. Would you say there was a turning point in your life? Can you isolate one or more turning points where you were going in one direction and then something happened that altered the course of your life? Maybe it didn't happen like that.
No, I don't think it. Well, maybe if I thought hard, but just like that at the moment, I couldn't tell you. No.
Some people, well, they go and live in another country and it's a turning point, or they meet somebody who stimulates them to do something different. So
well, it must have happened, but I didn't reflect that it was a turning point for me. Well, when I went to live in Canada, I thought perhaps it was a turning point, but in fact it had not been. Because when I went to Canada, it was great. I discovered lots of things, different civilization in a way. But basically, I lived in the same way. I went to work, and I did the same thing I did in France.
But would you say it widened your horizons nevertheless?
Yes, it did, because I met many people, different ways of doing things, and well, that was interesting.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you a question which I think you've already answered, which is what obstacles did you face in your early life, and how did you manage to overcome them?
Obstacle?
Yeah.
Well,
from what you said, it was your home life.
Well, already it was my parents. My parents, when I went to the boarding school, there were many obstacles to face. That's what you mean by obstacle?
Yeah, the things that, I don't know, if you wanted to get somewhere and there was something standing in the way. For example, you wanted to be educated, but your parents or your environment stopped you doing it.
Yeah, it was the circumstances that stopped it. So I had many obstacles, yes. But I tried to overcome them, and in a way I did. But maybe the first obstacle, which is funny in a way, is my forename. I used to be called Rena, and I didn't like it. And when I was 7 or 6 rather, I decided that I didn't want to be called Rena. I wanted to be called by my second name, Jocelyne. And it was very hard because everybody knew me by that forename, and I said that I would not answer unless I was called Jocelyne. And in the end, I managed.
What bothered you about the name Rena?
I don't know, I found it hard. I found it, at the time in particular, it sounded really, nobody was called like that. But in fact, perhaps it was a good thing, you know. Now I don't dislike it now. But for many, many years, I really disliked it. It sounded hard. Maybe it was the way my father used to say it.
Yeah.
It seemed very violent.
Can you imitate how he used to say it?
Rena, viens ici.
Oh, okay. And if he said Jocelyn, he had to slow down.
Yeah.
He couldn't come out as
Yeah, it was softer, it seemed. Plus the fact that it was more, it was not common either, that name, but people quite liked it in those days, so it was a way to be accepted. When I went in the environment of the boarding school, and where people used to laugh at my phoneme. Rena used to be laughed at.
But are you satisfied with the way that your life panned out? See, that's a difficult question.
It's difficult, that's for sure, but I would say that yes, in a way I'm satisfied, because I don't think that if I had to do things again, it would be different, because I would be in the same state of mind. I would have the same way of doing things, and therefore I don't think it would have changed anything.
Okay. But do you have any regrets? Personally, I have regrets, but that's me. It would be not the same. You know, the things that you would have done differently if you knew what you knew now.
Probably, but at the time I didn't know them, so that's why I don't have any regrets. Because at the time I would be as I was before, so therefore the way I acted, I don't regret. If I have any regrets, it's for very minor things, you know, like perhaps I said something nasty to somebody and I should not have. Things like that.
Does that happen to you, or did that happen to you often, to say nasty things to people?
When I was young, it happened to me many times, I think, yes. But when I felt a bit aggressed, or I felt, being looked down, things like that.
Do you think that harks back to your childhood? You said
probably.
Your father was domineering.
That's right. Probably it did, because it did something to me that triggered some kind of aggressivity. So, but at the time I didn't, or maybe I did feel it, but I just couldn't restrain my character, my emotions. Okay,
so once it was out, there were times when you regretted it. I shouldn't have said that.
At times, yes, because I hurt people and it was unnecessary. But sometimes I did, and I thought it was good. And it could have been worse. Sometimes I regretted that I had not answered violently to some people, just because I wanted to preserve their pride in a way or whatever. But after that I regretted, because I thought I should have said.
Oh, that's interesting. Lots of older people keep saying that life was better before. Would you agree with that?
No. No. As I said before, there were things that were perhaps better before. Yes, better before. But there are things now that are perhaps even better than they were before. Like all the new devices that we have, like internet, cinema, which are available not only at the cinema, but on your computer or even on your phone. The phones are a great tool. There are more opportunities in a way to study, although it means you have to have money, but not always in France you can have grants. It's easier if you want to do research, like when I used to be at the university. If I wanted to make my research, I had to go to England, I had to go to libraries. It wasn't always easy.
Mm.
Whereas now you can do it through internet at home in comfort.
But some people might say, well, you had more experience, more tactile experience by going to the library
Oui, that's
than
true.
just looking at the...
It was an experience to go to those nice libraries that I went to in England. And in France, in fact, in places that you can't go unless you've got a special entry signed by your university professor. But nevertheless, it could be difficult sometimes. If you have to go abroad, then it means you have to have the money to be able to go abroad, to stay abroad a little while. You've got opening times, closing times.
Yeah.
It's whereas now you can do it at your leisure, and there are more things available than there were.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I understand.
Because things have gone quicker. I can't express myself. And there are more things available to find all the documents which were not available at the time.
Yeah, okay. Some people, when they hark back to what they call the good old days, talk about the fact they had more freedom as children. For example, they could go out unsupervised. Nowadays you have parents that put trackers on their children so that they know where they are every minute of the day. Lots of generation, what they called baby boomers, they consider they had a very free youth. They could go out, they could climb trees, they could do all sorts of things. They didn't have parents behind them saying, don't do this, don't do that. And so they regret that their grandchildren, for example, have always got their nose stuck to a screen. They can't go anywhere without supervision. They don't walk to school. Whereas, did you walk to school?
Yes,
Mm.
yes, I used to. Not when I was at the boarding school, but when.
But did
when
your
I
parents take you to the boarding school then?
Yes, I had
Yeah.
to go to the boarding school, but I was quite independent. So when I was 11, I think, I wanted to go on my own, and I even took the metro on my own. And my mother used to meet me at the other end of the metro, but I had to go from the boarding school to the metro on my own,
Yeah.
and then travel many stations. They're all on my own. I was only at 11. It seems impossible today. That's for sure.
Do you think that parents today overreact?
I think many parents overreact. Yes.
Because if we take the example of Japan, the kids go to school by themselves. They walk along what we would consider dangerous roads. The other parents watch over the children as they're going. And I remember when I went to school, it was quite a long way. At a young age, it must have been a good kilometre. And I have no recollection whatsoever of my parents ever accompanying me to school.
No. But now, even if the parents wanted their kids to go on their own, they would be badly looked at from other parents. They wouldn't dare to do it. It's something that came gradually, that we are threatened everywhere, but I find it's over-exaggerated nevertheless.
So that's one point marked up for the good old days.
Okay, yeah.
Now a pretty, could be dark question. What are your views on death? As we get older, it gets inevitably closer.
But it's inevitable,
Yeah.
so it will come.
Yeah.
And I don't have the power to do anything about that. It will happen, it will happen. It's normal.
There are still people around that believe in some form of life after death.
No, I don't believe life after death. If there is, it will be what pieces of cinder that fly outside or that's buried. No, I don't believe it.
Something more pleasant. What are your hobbies? What hobbies do you have?
I like the cinema a lot, yes. I enjoy reading. I enjoy doing things with my hands, but I don't do it very often nowadays. But I like sports.
So what would be a typical day? How would you occupy your day?
I start with the gym. No. If you want my whole day, well, I get up.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, and once I'm in the kitchen, I start to do my housework for an hour and a half. Then I go to the gym for a couple of hours, and then I come home, and then I can have a day doing cinema research or going to the cinema. I enjoy politics, so I spend quite a bit of time reading newspapers or what's happening.
Yeah. So you're not bored?
Oh, never. Never. There's too many things in life to be bored.
That's because lots of old people.
No, I can't understand how you can be bored, especially nowadays where you've got so many things at hand to do hobbies, and even for old people there are many things to do, organized by a town hall where you can spend nearly every afternoon with people if you want to. No, there are many things organized which there were not in the old days. So that's
a point for today.
In fact, I never have enough time in my day to do everything I want to do. So I go later and later to bed.
Do you think you're an exception for that, or do you...
No, I think there must be plenty of people like me.
Well, that's good. Do you have any specific goals today? Got things you would like to achieve before you turn into cinders that fly away in the air?
Well, I'm happy with what I'm doing now. So
you'd like it to continue that
yes,
way
I would
as long as possible?
Yes, unless I may have an idea for a project, it may happen. We never know.
Do you got any advice for future generations?
To live their life the best they can, to enjoy every bit of it.
You know, this channel is going to appear in both English and French. The idea is that people on either side of the channel might get a feeling for how ordinary people live and think in each other's country. Have you spent much time in England?
I lived there 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I went many times.
So you've been to Canada. You lived in Canada for how long, did you say?
9 months.
9 months. And 3 years in England?
3 years in England.
Did you live in any other country?
No. Oh, no, not really. I worked in Germany for about 2 months.
Yeah.
But no, that's about it.
Well, another thing that has happened over the past few years, which concerns intimately Britain and France, is Brexit.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on Brexit? Was it a good idea, do you think, for the
But
British?
it doesn't look like it was a good idea at all, no? And I think lots of people in Great Britain regret to have voted for Brexit.
Mm.
But in a way, it's difficult for two countries to get on, and the interest, financial interest, are not the same.
Mm.
So every country think about their own interest, which is normal, and that's what I feel about Europe. That each country differ.
Mm.
They've got different about economy, in fact,
Mm.
and they've got different priorities, and therefore it conflict with the other country. So it's bound to make problems, to create problems.
But do you think, I mean, for many years Britain was in the EU,
Yeah.
and other countries have not been voting to leave Europe, so they find a common interest, even if, as you say, they are different.
I agree, but Great Britain was always a bit different. They wanted their own money. They had difficulties to change their meter system.
Yeah, the measuring system, yeah.
You know, things like that. They wanted to be in and not in.
1 foot in and 1 foot out.
That's
yeah.
right. And I think if they came back, it would be the same.
Yeah.
If they came back, if they come back.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think ordinary English people think of the French?
It depends which one. You know, it's always the same.
No, yeah, it's hard to generalise, but
Otherwise, well, I think they feel that they are perhaps superior in a way to
Yeah.
French people.
so what is it that they feel superior over?
They think we are messy, perhaps that we don't follow rules.
Mm.
Like many countries think of France.
Okay. Do you think they are sympathetic to French people, or
No,
rather antagonistic?
antagonistic.
Mm.
They think we are proud of our country, but we overdo it. We are loud. We don't have good manners, things like that. On the other hand, they like our food, nevertheless.
In the countryside, maybe the Alps.
And they like our countryside, the sun, the South Coast sun.
Okay.
But I don't think they like our manners.
Conversely, how do you think French people in general consider the British? Remember that in British you've got different countries.
Yeah, no, for sure.
There's a difference between Scots and English.
But the first thing that comes to my mind is that we find them false.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say one thing to your face, but in fact, they don't think it.
Okay.
They.
Perhaps, I don't know whether you've thought about this, but perhaps it comes from the language, the structure of the language.
Yeah, it could be.
In English, we easily say, I'm afraid that I won't be able to come to see you today. Are they afraid?
No.
But if you look at it literally from outside, and if you take it literally, you think, why are they afraid? Which might lead to...
Yeah. Well,
Also, it's very difficult in a social situation for an English person in particular to outwardly contradict. It makes an English person uncomfortable to say, you're wrong, I don't agree with you.
whereas a French person takes it.
Yeah.
So that's why we say that the English people are hypocrites.
Yeah. But do you think it's
Because-
really hypocrisy?
No,
or is
it's
it just
a
that
kind of diplomacy.
well,
you could
it's a-
say. Yeah.
it's a
They want to be
social-
polite,
Yeah.
where we are more
more direct?
direct. Yeah.
Do you think overall, to wrap up, that the two countries, English people and French people, can get on with each other
With difficulty.
with difficulty?
Yeah.
Have you got? Do you think it's likely to get worse or likely to get better? This understanding.
Well, it depends on the world situation, I think.
Yeah.
As it is now, perhaps we'll get closer now to England, especially with what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
With,
For context, for the channel, yesterday was the day in which Trump and Vance absolutely humiliated the Ukrainian president to the disgust of, I think, most Europeans of all political shades, whether they be British, French, German, Italian.
But I think Trump also insulted the British First Minister.
I don't really, no, I don't think so. Nothing
Yeah,
like what happened
No,
with
not
Zelensky.
like Zelensky, but
No, well, and do you think, since we're on that topic, that the ballet of foreign leaders going to the White House, how do you view that?
like a TV show. It's useless,
Yeah.
absolutely useless.
And some people would say that they're bending the knee, as they say in American English. In other words, they're being subservient. They go to flatter. But do you think it makes any difference?
No, it makes no difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, I think, I don't think it's the right attitude to have.
No.
I think we should be firmer and stand up to these people.
Zelensky was firm,
Yeah,
but look what happened to him.
he was firm, but at the same time, he's in a weak situation. I admire the way he managed to hold his temper,
Yeah.
because I mean it was really awful what the situation they put him in. They're absolutely aggressive. But I admire that. But at the same time, he looked weak. He looked weak, and he didn't say enough against them.
Well, he was talking, but they shouted over him.
Yeah, I know. It was, but he should have tried to find a moment to tell them what they are, or at least when there were interviews after the. He could have said more, but I suppose he wanted to try to keep it down,
Yeah.
not to lose everything in his mind. I think it's lost anyway. So we might just as well stand up for ourselves.
Well, on that note, which is typical of your character, from what I've been able to see during this interview, that you are full of, how can I put it, willpower. Stand up for yourself, and you want other people to stand up for themselves. So it just leaves me all left to thank you very much. It's been great talking to you. And, well, we'll wrap it up there.
Okay,
Thanks very much again.
okay, ciao.